Thank you very much, Madam Vice President, and I appreciate your effort to try and pronounce my name, which is the typical Southern African click. I will one of these days offer to give you some lessons on how to pronounce it, and I'm sure other delegates would also be keen to join in that class. It is indeed an honor for me, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, to present the progress report on the 6th session of the Intergovernmental Working Group to elaborate the content of an international regulatory framework without prejudging the nature thereof to protect human rights and ensure accountability for violations and abuses relating to the activities of private military and security companies. Ahead of the 6th session, which took place from 7 to 9 April 2025, the Chair-Rapporteur released the 4th draft of an international regulatory framework on the regulation, monitoring, and oversight over the activities of private military and security companies. The 4th draft was at the center of the discussion which took place during 2 days of informal intersessional consultations on 2 and 3 of December 2024. On the basis of comments and textual suggestions received during the last session, the intersessional consultations, as well as the expert advice of the members of the group, which was established at the 3rd session to provide legal and technical advice on specific issues, the Chair delegation released a revised 4th draft which served as a basis for the discussion at the last session. The overall approach to the revised 4th draft had remained unchanged, namely, to draw on past reports of the working group, existing non-binding regulatory documents such as the International Code of Conduct for Private Security Service Providers, the Montreal document on pertinent international legal obligations relating to private military and security companies, the United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, and the draft of a possible convention on private military and security companies for consideration and action by the Human Rights Council. To adhere to the mandate of the resolution, the approach in the draft presented at the 6th session has continued to be carefully thought so as to abide by the mandate of the resolution. This has continued to translate into a format that could form the basis for either a legally or a non-legally binding outcome, with language options to reflect both approaches. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all state delegations and other stakeholders for their valuable contributions and comments, as well as concrete textual suggestions made during the last session on the revised 4th draft. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the group of legal experts who have continued to provide legal advice on some specific issues at the request of the working group. Such active engagement on the text speaks loudly to the need for this group to continue its work and to develop a draft regulatory framework that would regulate private military and security companies in an appropriate and fair manner, ensure that human rights abuses are curtailed, and that victims have recourse to effective remedies, and enable states to discharge their regulatory responsibilities based on a strong international regulatory instrument. Preparations are underway, gearing towards the 7th session of the working group. As per the roadmap adopted at the last session, the 5th draft currently being prepared will be informed by written inputs received during and after the session, as well as from a meeting that the Chair convened last July with the legal experts to seek their input on specific issues identified collectively by the working group. The Chair delegation is finalizing the text of a 5th draft instrument, which will be discussed during informal consultations scheduled to take place at the beginning of December. This 5th draft that aims to reflect progress made will contain some parts of the text on which there appear to be consensus in green color, so that the intersessional consultations can focus on outstanding issues on which consensus is still being sought. Let me conclude by assuring you of my commitment as Chair-Rapporteur of the working group to continue working towards the much-needed framework to end abuses caused by private military and security companies and ensure accountability and remedies to victims. I thank you for your attention and support.